is on, right?
Yep. Okay.
All right. Wonderful. Let's start this party, I want to say.
All
Yeah,
right.
let's get the show started. Welcome, everybody. My name is Ulli, and I work here as a community manager at Goto 10 Linköping. So nice to see you today. Welcome to Goto 10. Welcome to our startup night. This is a part of a bigger open house event that is happening all around us tonight at Mjärdevi. So if you have time, you are free to check out other locations as well. Here specifically, we'll be only talking about startups, deep tech, and innovations. So this is very exciting. To my right, I have my co-pilot for tonight, Aaron. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello. Hi, everybody. My name's Aaron, and I'm working here at Goto 10. And I'll be helping with the sound and picture tonight, and also helping you to become a member as well of Goto 10. So if you have any questions about that, you can ask me. Okay.
Perfect. When I was prepping for this event, Aaron, I realized that you are quite a pitcher yourself, and that's a bit of a spoiler because we're going to have a pitch session at the end with 7 startup companies. You pitch Goto 10 quite a lot to all of our new members. Would you like to do a bit of a pitch moment right here?
Sure,
yeah?
I do. Yeah. So Goto 10, it's my internet stiftelsen, and it's a free workspace, but it's a lot more than that. It's really for a community of curious, like-minded people who want to come together to learn from each other, and there is so many benefits they get of being part of this community. And yeah, it's a free space. You can have event space. You can have like events here as well. You have the opportunity to you have
network, meet a lot of new people.
Exactly, yes. And yeah, you can able to use our pod studio, and you can use your prints. So it's really, if you recognize yourself as that, then this Goto 10 has so much to offer our members, and membership is completely free as well, and welcome to use the space.
True that. I agree. We have a bit of a busy schedule today. It's very exciting. It's a lot of things happening here all at once, almost. We're going to have a few breaks, pauses, but I think we just run through the schedule so that you feel comfortable. Aaron, would you like to present it?
Okay, so for the schedule for today, first we have Jannike from Internet Stiftelsen. She's going to be telling us all about the work Internet Stiftelsen do. And after that, we're going to have our panel discussion on deep tech and the innovations system here in Linköping. And then we'll have a bit of a 15-minute break just to be able to kind of like stretch the legs and be able to get some fika. And then in the evening, we're going to hear from our startup companies, and we're going to hear their pitches as well. So yeah, that's what we have planned for this evening.
Busy yet exciting schedule, and I hope you stay until the end because it will be fun, I promise. All right. Some practical information for those of you attending on site. So we will be doing some filming and taking pictures. Hope that's okay. If you don't want to be seen, just talk to me or Aaron at some point. Talk to us about Goto 10. Ask us questions. Ask us to show you around. Ask us to help you become a member, because that really is worth it. Do that in the breaks so that we can attend to you. Our coffee bar will be open throughout the evening, so if you get hungry or you really want to enjoy a good cup of coffee, that is possible. Just talk to our barista over there.
Yeah, also toilets are on the ground floor and also on the first floor as well. And we will be having taking some questions, both online and also from our participants here. So if you're asking questions, I'll be passing around the mic to you. And just when you have the mic, just to kind of talk really close in so everybody can hear you online. Okay.
Get really friendly with the mic. Okay. All right, without further ado, I said it's 10:04, so we welcome our first presenter, Jannike Tillå, Vice President, Head of Communications at Internet Stiftelsen. Jannike, warm welcome. The floor is yours.
Okay.
Hello? Yes, it's on. Okay, I realized, I told Ulli that I used to speak a lot of English, and I haven't done that for some years, so my English really sucks, to be honest. So do you speak Swedish? But yeah, I will mix, because good. Känner ni till Internetstiftelsen? Ja, det är trevligt. Jag ska visa en liten kortfilm istället för att presentera just själva bakgrunden om vilka vi är. The sound Aaron. Just själva bakgrunden om vilka vi är.
Socializing. Paying the bills.
The sound Aaron.
Nearly every Swede uses the internet daily. Paying the bills. We use it for work. Socializing. Paying the bills. Or when we feel like baking a cake. Nearly every Swede. The Swedish Internet Foundation is an independent organization responsible for all .se and .nu domains. All proceeds from these domains are used to help realize our vision that everyone in Sweden wants to, dares to, and is able to use the internet. We increase people's knowledge and awareness of independent organization responsible
Jag fick mejl igår. Jag är en slumpmässigt utvald vinnare av 75 000 spänn. Jag visste inte ens att jag var med och tävlade.
We provide schools with free teaching materials, helping teachers transition to digital teaching and learning. We help make our digital society safer, so that companies and organizations get better e-services. We arrange conferences and offer meeting places, so that people can meet and inspire each other. We simply love the internet and are passionate about sharing our knowledge. Together, we can make the internet stronger and better. We arrange conferences and offer meeting places.
Sure about us. We are an independent business-driven organization. Many people think that we are part of the public sphere, but we're not. We are a private foundation. Och vi hanterar den svenska toppdomänen.se och vi administrerar .nu. Och intäkterna från den här verksamheten återinvesterar vi i olika satsningar som bidrar till kunskap och digital kompetens, forskning och utbildning kopplat till internet. Vi är ungefär 100 personer, huvudkontor i Stockholm, har ett Goto 10 i Linköping och ett i Malmö, så vi har också lite våra tentakler lite ute i Sverige. Och man kan säga att vi bildades 1997 för att då insåg de som hade tagit hand om den svenska toppdomänen från början i Sverige, några personer på KTH, att internet skulle bli stort. Då hade vi ungefär 30 000 domäner 97 i Sverige. Då bestämde de här personerna att vi ser till att vi får hantera den här toppdomänen för Sverige. Vi vill inte att det ska skötas av staten. Och vi tycker inte det ska skötas av ett privat företag. Så att man bestämde sig för att lägga det i den här stiftelsen. Och lite visste man då att man några år senare, eller ett gäng år senare, skulle hantera ganska mycket pengar. Idag så omsätter vi mellan 230 till 250 miljoner per år. Och mycket av de pengarna, alltså överskottet, återinvesterar vi i satsningar. Jag är då ansvarig för verksamheten som ska ta hand om överskottet på ett bra sätt. Och jag är även kommunikationschef på Internetstiftelsen. Från början så handlade det mycket om tillgång till internet. Det handlade om att säkerställa en bra utrullning av bredband och den typen av frågor. Idag handlar det ju såklart om helt andra typer av frågor. Det handlar om digital kompetens, det handlar om förståelse för hur digitaliseringen påverkar individ och samhälle. Det handlar om att bidra till rätt typ av forskning för att sätta strålkastarljuset på de utmaningar och de fördelar som finns med internet och digitaliseringen. Så att vi har skiftat ganska mycket fokus de senaste åren. Och vi har en position som handlar om att vi vill ha kunskap och engagemang för ett bättre och starkare internet. Och den här positionen, den jobbar vi med hela verksamheten. För att det är så här att en del är ju väldigt tekniskt liksom fokuserad. Det handlar om att vi ska ha ett säkert, robust domännamnsystem i Sverige, så att när du lägger in en typ av adress så ska du komma rätt. Det är jätteviktigt, grundläggande. Det är en samhällsviktig funktion. Och sen handlar det också om att vi behöver tillsammans jobba med att lyfta de utmaningar som finns i digitaliseringens tid och säkerställa att alla människor är med. Så att vi försöker bidra till att alla människor faktiskt kan ta tillvara på möjligheterna och göra det på ett bra sätt. Och det är därför vi har vår vision att alla i Sverige vill, vågar och kan använda internet. Och det kanske låter lite, ja det kan de väl. Nej, men det kan de inte. Utan det är så här att våga handlar om kompetens. Vi har stora grupper i Sverige idag som inte förstår hur internet fungerar och digitaliseringen fungerar. De förstår inte hur digitala tjänster ska hanteras på ett säkert sätt. Så att för vår del handlar det om att säkerställa att många har digital kompetens. Nu står vi i en stor diskussion om skolan och digital kompetens i skolan. Där vi ser det som väldigt utmanande att välja bort skärmarna i skolan. För att skärmarna är jätteviktiga för barnen att få med sig digital kompetens ut i det samhället de ska leva i som är digitalt. Det betyder inte att man inte behöver läsa och skriva i böcker. Men det är så att skolan har ett starkt kompensatoriskt ansvar där föräldrarna inte kan bidra. Och vi ser redan nu ett begynnande AI-gap mellan de barnen som får med sig och lära sig hantera till exempel generativ AI och de barnen som inte får det. Så att vi ser en ny våg på en ny typ av digitalt gap som vi har sett i många år när den första vågen digitalisering kom. Ja, vår avdelning, eller den delen som hanterar överskottet, heter Communications and Public Benefit. Vi är 25 personer som jobbar med de här frågorna. Och vi delar in vår verksamhet i 3 områden. Det är Insights, Live Meetings and Digital Competence. Jag kommer komma tillbaka till det, men här är ett resultat av vad vi kallar Live Meetings. Att erbjuda mötesplatser där människor kan mötas och dela kunskap, så som vi kommer göra idag. Digital kompetens, då har vi jobbat under många år att sätta strålkastarljuset på just digital delaktighet för att säkerställa att alla har tillgång till, att alla kan själv på ett medvetet och säkert sätt använda digitala tjänster och ta tillvara på digitaliseringens möjligheter. Och vi sätter strålkastarljuset genom våra egna undersökningar där vi mäter hur står det till, hur tycker människor att internet och digitaliseringen fungerar, var finns det gap någonstans. Vi jobbar som sagt i skolan. 2018 skrev man in digital kompetens i läroplanerna i grundskolans alla stadier i Sverige. Men det var inte många lärare som visste hur de skulle ta sig an den förändringen överhuvudtaget. Och då gick vi in och gjorde en lösning. Jag ska komma tillbaka till den. Och vi gör samma sak egentligen för den vuxna allmänheten. Vi har något som heter digital folkbildning eller internetkunskap. Där vi tittar på vad behöver man kunna idag och förstå för att bidra och delta i ett digitalt samhälle. Och sen har vi Internetmuseum som är egentligen att vi sparar det svenska kulturarvet kopplat till internets utveckling. Och där har vi intervjuer med pionjärer och människor som egentligen bidrog till att internet blev som det blev. Vi har intervjuer med väldigt tongivande personer som Carl Bildt eller Ines Uusmann. Det finns väl ganska många politiker som har gjort stora, vissa mindre roliga än andra. Jag vet inte om ni har hört om Ines Uusmann som sa att internet var en flyga. Hon säger att hon inte riktigt sa det och det gjorde hon inte riktigt. Så gå in och lyssna på intervjun så får ni se vad hon egentligen sa. För det har faktiskt blivit någonting som har flugit iväg och blivit lite av en felaktig information. Men här kan man alltså titta på hur internet blev som det blev. Man kan också ha ganska roligt för det är ganska mycket att titta tillbaka på hur internet såg ut för 10, 20, 30 år sedan. Det som vi tyckte var coolt och häftigt då kan man ju nästan skratta åt idag. Men det är en ganska spännande resa på kort tid som har gjorts i Sverige och världen såklart. Och digital lektioner som jag var inne på, det är då den lösningen vi har. Det är en Open Education Resource för Digital Literacy för alla grundskolans stadier. Som sagt var, 2018 skrev man in i läroplanen att barnen skulle få med sig digital kompetens. Och vi har då gjort 45 lektioner som är färdiga att ta sig an i klassrummet på olika sätt. Så att barnen ska få med den här kompetensen de behöver för att när de ger sig ut i samhället. Och det handlar om mycket digital källkritik, väldigt, väldigt viktigt och högaktuellt. I vår Svenskan och internet, som är vår stora undersökning, så kunde vi i år gå ut och berätta att för unga så är TikTok en av de viktigaste nyhetskanalerna. Det ställer väldigt höga krav på källkritik, att stanna upp, att inte dras med, att dubbelkolla källor. Och när AI nu läggs till så kommer det bli ännu mer utmanande, eller är ännu mer utmanande. Här ligger också programmering, att förbereda och få barn intresserade för programmering och utveckling. Här har vi en utmaning i Sverige idag. Väldigt för få som går in på tekniska gymnasiet och för få som stannar kvar i till exempel techyrkena när de väl har kommit in. Och det kommer bli en stor utmaning för Sverige framåt, eller är det en utmaning? Det fattas väldigt många resurser och det kommer inte bli enklare. Så här behöver vi också starta liksom ett slags intresse kring tech och vilja vara med och bidra. Där försöker vi jobba på både att påverka hur lärarutbildning ser ut, och det handlar om att liksom, idag exkluderar du ofta studenter redan på gymnasiet. Har du inte valt rätt linje på gymnasiet, det vill säga teknik, natur och så vidare, då är det svårare för dig att bli ingenjör sen. Medan vi vet att Försvarshögskolan till exempel har ju en lösning där man tar in samhällsvetare som blir cyberexperter genom att de har gjort då cyberlumpen. Och sen får de en påbyggnad av en utbildning på KTH och sen blir de säkerhetsexperter. Så att vi tror att vi behöver lyfta de här frågorna, att fler människor ska kunna ta sig vidare, att vi exkluderar för tidigt. Inte nog med att vi då erbjuder de här lektionerna och lektionsmaterialet som då möter läroplanerna, så har vi faktiskt utbildat närmare 20 000 pedagoger sedan 2018 i digital kompetens. För ni kan ju tänka er själv, om du är en mattelärare som har hållit på i 25 år och sen så kommer någon och säger nu ska du lägga på Python-programmering. Det är rätt svårt, för det första så kan ofta inte lärarna någonting om det här. Och eleverna kan oftast mycket mer. Speciellt så är det då en klick elever som kan extra mycket. Och det blir ganska utmanande i klassrummet. Så att kunna känna sig trygg i att ta sig an det här liksom klivet med digital kompetens in i skolan är jätteviktigt. Att vi stöttar eleverna, eller lärarna med. Och här handlar det om att utbilda dem. Att få dem att prata med andra och dela erfarenhet. Vi har också en podd där liksom de lärare som ligger långt fram och är intresserade av de här frågorna. För ni vet, idag är skolan ett lotteri. Du kan få en lärare som är intresserad av det digitala och faktiskt bidra till att du får en bra start som elev. Och du har andra lärare som faktiskt inte alls tycker att det här är intressant eller lägger fokus på det. Och det här handlar ju om att vi ska se till att alla barnen får med sig det de behöver ut i samhället. Och vi anordnar även stora konferenser. Sättdagarna är en stor konferens som sker varje år, som är en lärkonferens eller en skolkonferens som fokuserar väldigt mycket på det digitala kopplat till skolutveckling. Och vi hade faktiskt ett väldigt intressant event här för bara några veckor sedan, eller kanske några månader sedan, som handlar om AI i skolan, som var väldigt välbesökt. Jag tror det var 600 anmälda. Väldigt, väldigt spännande att många nu vill testa att ta sig an den här frågeställningen, att lära barnen att förlänga sig själva med generativ AI i klassrummet. Så att det är det vi gör för barnen genom skolan. Vi har idag en kännedom på över 60% av de 100 000 grundskollärarna som finns i Sverige, så att vi når ut ganska bra och fortsätter enträget att utbilda. Hur många har haft programmering i skolan? Det var inte så många. Och internetkunskap. Det är precis samma typ av lösning egentligen, fast vi gör det på ett annat sätt, för det är för den vuxna allmänheten och det finns ingen skola som säger att du ska kunna saker och ting och det finns ingen läroplan. Men däremot så finns det ett digital competence framework för citizens inom EU. EU har tagit fram det här ramverket som de kontinuerligt uppdaterar, och det här handlar om vilken typ av kompetens du ska ha för att ta tillvara på möjligheterna i samhället. Och vi har utgått ifrån den när vi har tagit fram vår tjänst internetkunskap.se. Och den består av en webbplats med kurser, videos och olika typer av långa och korta artiklar som handlar om ett gäng områden som rör digital kompetens. Det är den ena delen. Den andra delen är att vi sprider den enormt mycket i sociala medier. För att vi vet att de flesta vet inte ens om att de behöver öka sin egen digitala kompetens. Så att vi når ut väldigt mycket i Metas kanaler, i olika typer av mediekanaler för att liksom möta användaren där den är så att den ska få med sig information och kunskap. Och vi har en räckvidd på över 2 miljoner per år på den här tjänsten. Och vi har nästan 500 000 som besöker våra webbplatser för att lära sig mer. Och här kan vi göra ännu mer. Här jobbar vi mycket med olika typer av myndigheter som har olika typer av ansvar kopplat till det här. Till exempel Polismyndigheten, Myndigheten för samhällsberedskap, Myndigheten för psykologiskt försvar och så vidare. Och jag kan hoppa över den här. Och det vi egentligen vill åstadkomma, det är ju att vi har säkra, medvetna användare som tar initierade beslut om sin egen användning, som kan göra sina inställningar på ett säkert sätt. De ska förstå vad integritet på nätet är. De ska förstå vilken typ av pussel man kan lägga när man lägger ihop datakällor om dem. De ska själva förstå hur de kan vara säkra i en banktjänst och så vidare. Och kan man ju ta för givet om man är väldigt digital själv, men det är väldigt många målgrupper i Sverige idag som tycker att det är rätt svårt. Det handlar om självförtroende, att vara kritisk och ett självförtroende. Och sen säger inte vi vad som är rätt och fel. Vi säger ju inte vi tycker att de här tjänsterna är integritetskränkande, utan vi säger du borde veta hur du gör dina inställningar om du vill kunna göra dem. Och den här tjänsten bygger egentligen på att vi har lagt in det som vi ser är det viktiga att kunna och ha med sig. Och det började faktiskt inför valet 2018. Vi såg vad som hade hänt i USA. Vi såg Brexit-kampanjen, vi såg Trump-kampanjen. Vi såg att det var väldigt mycket desinformation. Vi vet från Säkerhetspolisen att Ryssland och Iran har påverkat väldigt mycket av det innehåll de tog del av i de länderna. Och vi tänkte att vi måste stärka resiliensen och motståndskraften. Att människor inte ska gå på allting de ser. De måste kunna ifrågasätta. Så vi började med digital källkritik, sökkritik. Sen drar vi till propaganda, desinformationsfrågorna. Sen har vi lagt till säkerhetsfrågorna, den egna säkerheten. Logga inte in på annons begäran på BankID. Det här är en lösenordshanterare och så vidare. Sen har vi tittat på online privacy-frågan väldigt mycket för att öka medvetenheten. Och vi har en hel sektion som handlar om hur du ska hantera dina barn på nätet om du är en förälder eller du är en vårdnadshavare. Vad ska jag tänka på? Vi har gjort olika typer av listor där du kan lära dig rätt ord när du ska prata med barnen. Spellingo till exempel. Hur pratar man om nakenbilder? Hur pratar man om mobbning på nätet hemma? Vad kan man tänka på? Och allt det material vi gör, det gör vi tillsammans med olika typer av organisationer och experter. Och det senaste vi har lagt in, det är AI. Vi ser i våra senaste undersökning att det är ett stort gap mellan äldre och unga i att ens förstå vad AI är för någonting. Det är väl svårt för alla att förstå, greppa helt och hållet. Men vi ser att ungefär en tredjedel känner till ChatGPT, men av de äldsta är det väldigt få som har testat. Så vi ser nu ett nytt kunskapsgap som växer fram, som jag var inne på. Och lite vad finns det för risker och vad finns det för möjligheter på ett folkbildande sätt. Ibland känner vi att vi står mitt emellan. Vi jobbar med AI Sweden till exempel, men deras jobb är ju att accelerera användningen av AI. Jättebra. Och vi är med och utvecklar den svenska språkmodellen, ChatGPT-SV. Samtidigt vill vi också lyfta de etiska frågorna kopplat till AI, biasfrågorna, datafrågorna. Vi vill prata om hur säkerställer vi att alla människor förstår och tar tillvara på möjligheterna som kommer. Så att vi försöker hitta någon slags mittemellan, domedag och väldigt, väldigt stor optimism. Vi tror ju på många sätt att AI kommer bidra på många sätt framåt för samhället. Men det kommer inte komma av sig själv. Vi måste säkerställa transparens, vi måste säkerställa att människor förstår vad som är bakomliggande. Och just nu går det kanske inte helt åt rätt håll. OpenAI från början var en väldigt öppen, inkluderande företag. Idag är det väldigt stora pengar och det är väldigt stängt. Och det man kan se framför sig, nu blir det ytterligare ganska få enskilda aktörer som har väldigt stor makt. Det ser vi har alltid varit en utmaning när det sker på nätet. Och jag var inne på säkerhet. Där har vi gjort faktiskt också utvecklas kurser, inte bara kunskapsmaterial utan rena kurser där man kan testa sig själv och titta hur kan jag känna igen ett falskt sms, hur kan jag känna igen en e-post som jag inte ska klicka på och hur liksom konfigurerar jag till exempel en lösenordshanterare eller vad det nu är. Så att det är mycket för att höja säkerheten. Och här jobbar vi mycket med till exempel aktörer som BankID för att nå ut med kunskap. De har svårt själva att alltid nå hela vägen ut. Idag så har vi en stor tillväxt av bedrägerier kopplat till just BankID i Sverige. Och det är ofta äldre personer som blir lurade, men absolut inte bara. Och man ska inte lura sig och tro, ofta hamnar man i en situation att man hör att ja, men de unga är så bra, de kan jättemycket om, liksom, de fattar det digitala. Vår bild är ju inte att många unga är väldigt bra på att väldigt snabbt knappra på sin mobil och göra en jävligt snygg video till TikTok. Men det är inte alltid de ens förstår vad en molntjänst är eller liksom förstår integritetsinställningar och så vidare. Så att många kan kanske inte ens mejla. Så att vi tror att man får inte tro att bara för att man är ung och snabb på tangenterna så har man all kunskap man behöver ha med sig. Vi ser också i undersökningar att unga är mycket bättre på att skatta sin egen förmåga. Men sen när man testar dem så är de inte så bra som de kanske alltid tror. Så ibland pratar vi, det är lätt att man pratar bara om äldre. Så är det inte. Och om ni har lite tid att slå ihjäl så tycker jag verkligen ni ska gå in på Internetmuseum. För det är väldigt roligt och mycket nostalgi. Och också ganska mycket kunskap kring hur internet blev som det blev i Sverige. Och sen har vi insikter då. Hur många känner till undersökningen Svenskarna och internet? Den gör vi varje år, har gjort i många år. Och den är en väldigt tongivande. Det är undersökningen som egentligen är källan för de flesta som tar beslut kopplat till internet och digitalisering. Varje år är vi på regeringskansliet, i år 3 gånger för att presentera datan. Det handlar om en undersökning, rapporten är ungefär så här tjock om man printar ut den, som kartlägger egentligen svenskarnas internetanvändning. Den består av egentligen 5 olika datainsamlingar och 7000 respondenter. Vi frågar barn från 8 till 19, vi frågar alla vuxna. Det handlar om att förstå hur många använder internet. Hur många använder ett BankID? Vilka använder inte BankID? Det handlar om vad gör man på sociala medier? Vilka sociala medier växer och hur konsumerar man nyheter? Det handlar om barnens sätt att ta till sig kunskap i klassrummet digitalt. Den är superbred och den är som en slags uppslagsverk. Vi har ungefär 1000 medianedslag per år på den här rapporten. Den är väldigt, väldigt, väldigt omfattande och väldigt, väldigt bra att gå in om man vill ha någon typ av kunskap om hur det står till med digitaliseringen i Sverige på många sätt. Utifrån användarnas perspektiv. Det här är inte en undersökning som görs för myndigheter eller näringslivet utifrån hur de digitaliseras, utan hur medborgarna och användarna i Sverige, hur det står till med deras digitala användning och kompetens. Bredbandskollen, hur många känner till den? Det är en av våra mest välkända produkter i all sin enkelhet. Den används ju också väldigt, väldigt flitigt. Men på ett nytt sätt. Förr var det, får jag vad jag betalar för? Nu är det mer så här, ska jag flytta min router till något annat ställe? Det är en annan typ av användning idag. Men på olika sätt bidrar vi med kunskap till samhället kopplat till digitaliseringen som ingen annan egentligen riktigt gör utifrån användarnas perspektiv. Så att den är väldigt viktig. Och det är Sveriges största individundersökning om internetanvändning. Vi har flyttat oss ifrån att för ett gäng år sedan var det väldigt många kommunikatörer som använde den här. Vad når jag med en målgrupp? Är de på TikTok? Eller till att nu mer vara en del och en källa när Sverige tar fram regeringen kommer med sina budgetförslag. Eller den är mer av en kunskapskälla även för beslutsfattare. Vilket är hela tanken med den. Så det är väldigt roligt att vi har tagit oss dit. Vi hade faktiskt en lansering för 2 veckor sedan och då hade vi 6000 anmälda till lanseringseventet, så det är helt sjukt när vi står 1 timme och rabblar jäkligt mycket data. Men det är ett stort intresse för den här tjänsten. Så gå in och kolla där. Det här är lite bilder. Den ligger på svenskarnaointernet.se. Och där ligger också de gamla rapporterna. Så att vi gör ju en varje år och har gjort det i många år. Nu går vi in på live meetings. Vi vill bidra till möten mellan sektorer och olika kompetenser. Enskilda experter, näringsliv, offentlig sektor, där man kan mötas på en plats som denna, där vi är idag. Eller på vår stora konferens Internetdagarna, som vi anordnar varje år. Tanken med det är helt enkelt att vi ska vara en slags mötesplats där människor från olika sektorer möts och delar kunskap. Och det är därför den här platsen finns. Goto 10 finns just för att vi ska kunna bidra med det. Och även vår konferens Internetdagarna. Och Internetdagarna, det tycker vi då är Sveriges viktigaste konferens för alla som jobbar med digitalisering och utveckling av Sverige kopplat till digitala och internet. Och den har också ändrat karaktär. Den har väldigt mycket teknisk fokus för 20 år sedan. Idag är det snarare samhällsfrågor. Vi har alltid med oss väldigt prominenta keynote speakers på den här konferensen. Och vi har olika kunskapsscener där man då kan fördjupa sig och fortbilda sig i sin yrkesroll. Och 20-21 november kör vi, och missa inte att knipa en biljett. Jag tror vi är närmare 3000 som har köpt biljett redan, så att den är helt online så man kan titta och man kan eftertitta så man kan ta del av hela konferensen. Den är 2 dagar. I år har vi med Abeba Birhane. Hon är forskare, mycket kopplad till etisk AI. Idag pratar vi mycket om hur AI ska hjälpa oss i beslutsfattande i offentlig sektor. Men vad händer när datan som besluten fattas på är bias? Idag så bygger vi in mycket av den bias som redan finns på internet rakt in i de här lösningarna. Hur säkerställer vi att det blir bättre framåt? Hon är en etiopisk forskare som jobbar i Dublin och rör sig mellan samhälle och teknik i sin forskning. Jättespännande. Sen har vi Cora Doctorow som är en journalist och aktivist och författare och sci-fi-författare. Ofta läser man honom i The Wired, eller Wired heter den. Han pratar väldigt mycket om konsumentmakt och användarnas makt i en tid där de stora plattformarna är extremt tongivande. Och hur tar vi tillbaka det internet som fanns tidigare när det inte bara var väldigt kopplat till ett fåtal stora multinationella aktörer. Han lyfter väldigt mycket. Jag vet inte om ni har det finns en artikel som är väldigt spännande. Alltså för varje ny tjänst som kommer så är den först väldigt bra. Och sen blir den sämre och sämre. För det handlar om att tjäna mer och mer pengar. Och det handlar om hur algoritmerna liksom... bolagen tjänar på polarisering. Vi står i ett samhälle idag där vi inte har samma typ av mediebild. Vi unga och gamla, kvinnor och män konsumerar enskilda experter och olika typer av nyhetskanaler, men även väldigt mycket information i sociala medier. Och när då de här algoritmerna liksom alltid lyfter det som polariserar och skapar en slags aktivitet, för att det ger då annonsvisningar, så polariseras ett samhälle. Och vi kan ju se det. Jag vet inte om ni själva ser det. Jag ser det ganska tydligt att det håller på att hända även i Sverige. Och vi ser också att det är ganska många som tystar sig själva. De deltar inte i diskussionen. Man vågar inte. Så att då lämnar vi arenan till de som har mest att säga eller skriker högst. Och det är ganska... Det var inte den bilden man kanske hade när man började jobba med de här frågorna. Jag började väldigt tidigt att jobba med de här frågorna. Att man tänkte att fan vad coolt, vi kan mötas på internet. Vi kan dela kunskap och alla kommer ha tillgång till hela nätets liksom, bibliotek, till att det faktiskt är svårt att särskilja. Vad är desinformation? Vad är turisttroll? Vad är... Och så vidare. Så att vi har en stor utmaning, och jag tycker det ska bli väldigt spännande att höra Corey i en ny tappning och vad han har kommit fram till i sina efterforskningar. Sen har vi Ann Reardon som är dietist och researcher och youtuber. Hon började faktiskt med en bakkanal på YouTube och upptäckte att det var helt fullt med falska lifehacks. De har barn. Jag har barn som kommer hem och ska göra konstiga grejer som de har sett på liksom TikTok. Som bara är liksom, funkar inte. Det kan man ju nästan se direkt. Men de går på det och ska göra det. Och det är fullt av dem på YouTube också. Och varför? Så hon har forskat i vem är det som ligger bakom det här? Varför lägger man tid på att hitta på falska saker som inte funkar? Vad är hela tanken? Så att det är också en spännande liksom, bakomliggande information att ha med sig som användare. Och sen har vi Sasha Lykioni som jobbar med Hugging Face, och det är också en mycket fokus på AI i hennes keynote, och det handlar också om hur AI kan bidra till den gröna omställningen och klimatet. Sasha är jättespännande för att hon pratar om saker som till exempel, kommer vi hamna i en situation där vi måste välja vem som ska kunna använda AI-lösningar, för de drar så otroligt mycket ström. Ska vi hålla på, ska alla till man sitta och använda de här typen av lösningar? Kommer vi ha råd med det helt enkelt utifrån klimatpåverkan? Så det ska bli väldigt spännande att höra dels hur den gröna omställningen och digitaliseringen, det man kallar twin transition, hur det ska kopplas ihop. Men också hur ska vi tänka när vi prioriterar? Så det blir spännande. Så jag rekommenderar, det här är bara 4 keynotes, och sen är det väldigt mycket fördjupande spår. Det är allt ifrån AI-politiken med Karin Hübinette. Vi har frågor som handlar om kommunikation. Vi har 2 hela dagar för kommunikatörer. Det är teknikfrågor, det är digital kompetensfrågor för skolan och allmänheten. Så att in och köp en biljett. Och sen har vi då det sista. För ett gäng år sedan så bestämde vi oss för att det var många som ville ha sina event i våra lokaler. Så vi måste ta fram någonting bra liksom. Så det var då Goto 10 föddes. Vi startade i Stockholm och sa vi bygger en plats då, som är helt öppen och se om det funkar och se om folk kommer dit och bidrar dem, och kommer folk bli medlemmar och kommer de liksom dela kunskap och kommer de liksom fixa olika event och sådär. Och i Stockholm gick det superbra. Och idag har vi, jag tror det är 24 000 medlemmar på våra 3 Goto 10. Vi la till Malmö för ett gäng år sedan, och senaste tillskottet är ju Linköping. Kul att ni är här. Och vi bidrar med den här platsen för att bidra till dialog och kunskapsdelning kopplat till internet. Att fler det ska kunna komma till genom möten och utvecklas, och att vi tillsammans kan utveckla internet och det digitala samhället på olika sätt utifrån både näringsliv, studier, akademi, men även de här stora samhällsfrågorna som rör de demokratiska frågorna. Så att det är jättekul att se. Ulli är ju vår community manager på plats här och gör ett fantastiskt arbete. Det gör det verkligen. Brinnande community. Vi har ungefär på de här 3 platserna ungefär 30 events i månaden. Så att det har ju verkligen blivit en bra plats tycker vi. Så använd den, sprid ordet. För att det här gör vi bara för att bidra. Vi har liksom inget egenintresse, utan det här handlar om att vi vill bidra till samhället tillbaka för domänpengarna. Och det är liksom det vi gör. Det var det jag tänkte prata om idag.
We have time to take maybe 1 or 2 short questions. So if you're curious, want to know more or ask something, go ahead. Don't be shy. Remember, the mic is friendly, so you won't bite.
No questions?
Just sheer happiness.
Have you been here before at Goto 10 in Linköping? Yeah.
Perfect.
Good.
Well, you will be staying here throughout the night.
Yes.
So in case somebody will come up with a question or just want to talk on how we can work together, please do so. Don't be shy. We are very friendly and a good community. Perfect. So we will take a short break of 15 minutes just to do a sound check before our panel discussion on deep tech startups. So use this time to stretch your legs, get a refill for coffee, tea, and we'll see you here. Live audience on YouTube, we will kill the sound, but we will still be streaming, so please come back to us also in a quarter. All right? See you soon, very soon. All right, we're back. It's 1 minute to the panel discussion, but I think I'll just start anyway and talk a little bit. Hi everybody, welcome and welcome back for those of you who've been watching us before. My name is Ulli and I'm a community manager here at Goto 10 Linköping. So nice to... I'll just do this sometimes, magical moves. Yes. For those of you who have not been here, this is Goto 10 meeting and workplace. Very happy to see so many of you here tonight. Welcome. I have a fantastic privilege, the utmost privilege, I must say, to be moderating this discussion. Disclaimer, I'm a bit of a newbie to the world of startups and deep tech. But I think it will be amazing because my expectation tonight is to actually learn a lot from those experts here. So thank you so much for coming and for doing this with me. I also hope that we will have a very open, lively, honest conversation about deep tech, the problems that companies are experiencing, and we will share our ideas on how to solve them, maybe. This is a big question, but we'll see where we get to. And I also hope to continue with this format. I think it's an amazing event, honestly, to gather all of you and our pitching companies later on and having those open networking events to all together discuss things in an open and lively manner. I think it's amazing. So just a few practical details. This conversation will go on for 40 minutes, mostly us talking, and then we reserve 10 minutes for questions and answers. So save your questions for later. The live audience on YouTube, please write down your questions in the live chat and we will attend to them whenever we have a possibility. All right, without further ado, I think it's time to start. So lovely panelists, please introduce yourselves and describe very shortly what your expectations are from tonight.
I'll start then, since I'm first in line. Karin Ackerholm, I work as an innovation advisor at the university here in Linköping, and my expectations are that perhaps we use some collective intelligence on this subject, and perhaps that I will learn a few things too.
Okay, and hello everyone. My name is Catharina Sandberg, and I am the CEO of LeAD, the business incubator here in the region, situation here in Mjärdevi, but also in Norrköping. And my expectations, a great, curious, open discussion, and hopefully a lot of questions.
My name's Nate Robinson. I'm an American. I've been in Sweden for over 20 years. Until a couple years ago, I was a professor at the university, but now I'm a CEO of one of the startups that's in the lead incubator called LunaMicro. And the expectation tonight, yeah, I'm guessing we have different views on what the issues are. This should be interesting.
Hello, everybody. My name is Mattias Weinhandl. I'm a business angel from Linköping here, and I'm really looking forward to the questions later on, and hopefully I can learning a bit from the experts beside me.
All right, good start, and I think we're more or less on the same page, but there was some cliffhanger I sensed somewhere there in the middle of this panel. All right, even more exciting. I want to begin by throwing in simple or not so simple question, actually. A lot of people seem to think that deep tech is complicated, difficult. What makes it so difficult? It's a wild question, so whatever feels brave.
Do you want to start?
I can start. I don't think it's that difficult, but on the other hand, I think it might be how you frame the questions. So it can be hard to get deep tech startups into scalable solutions and actually making an impact in society. However, the deep part is where I reside daily at the university. You know, deep knowledge in a certain field is usually the starting point from our side, or for the innovations that I meet as ideas and potential for innovation. So in that case, the logic of looking into deep technologies or deep, insights that could be turned into technologies is sort of home turf. So in that case, not so complicated, or complicated as usual, perhaps.
But to continue, what could be complicated is to find where in the value chain you can go in with your deep tech solution. And what is deep tech? The definition is quite complex, but most often a disruptive solution quite often comes out from research from university, and it's a thing that takes a lot of time to go out for scaling. A lot of time, and also then you have a need of a lot of brave money.
Yeah, I think deep tech, it's things that are grounded in the university, but for me something is deep tech when you don't really know what the market is yet. You have an idea, you have a technology, you've found something neat, but almost the definition of the journey of a deep tech company is that they don't really have a clear path all the way to the market. So forget scale up, just even getting to a minimum viable product is not obvious in many cases. And then of course if you want to bring an investor in, a clever investor wants to know that there is a big market out there and understand what's going to happen there, and there's a gap. I think that's that gap, which is the scary part, why you need brave money. I think that's the biggest challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And as you say, when you don't really see the market in first hand, it takes time. And I think one thing you can do is to be more clear to the investors and to everybody that the time frame is different from regular startups. So if you have that in mind from the beginning, you know the journey, and it takes a lot of time. But I think that's a big problem though. Even the structure, how VC funds and so on are, the time frame is too short. It's 5 to 7 years. Usually takes a lot longer than that though.
Perhaps it's also relevant to highlight something that we talked about in our small pre-discussion. Is this also that the time frame might be also shifted towards a smoother transition if we can do even more already within the research. So in that case, for example, sometimes you can work with applied research and their engaged partners to perhaps also extrapolate on what could be the potential use cases, how could this be done, and also prepare for later market introduction activities. So therefore, perhaps moving those years into earlier years or into more research-focused activities. So that might be, or sometimes is, a solution to this problem.
Yeah, the challenge with that is that the more you develop in the public domain or at the university, the trickier it can be to patent and protect IP. A lot of deep tech is, the value in the deep tech is understanding how to solve these very technical problems. And if you do that at the research level, you typically have to publish. You have a certain type of financing that goes one way. And commercialization is something that you really would like to keep all those things secret.
Yep.
So it's in some way it's a paradox or a challenge. It's another challenge.
All right. So what I'm hearing is some kind of uncertainty. The fact that there's sometimes there are not maybe enough like market ready to accept that innovation, for example. So it's too deep. It's
let's
too
not
innovative.
scare everybody. Why are we doing deep tech at all? The reason
That's
is you can have a huge impact, right? If a regular startup, I was going to ask you what you meant by that. What a normal startup is, because I've never seen one. but if you're doing I don't know, software or there are a lot of services and startups that aren't as complicated and don't require as much technical knowledge, and the journey is shorter. It's often a very agile process, and you often have identified at least very clear markets and customers that you can get feedback from and have this type of dynamic. And you're missing that in a lot of deep tech. But if you want to change the world, if you want to save the planet, you almost always need a physical product. And if you really want to make big changes, you need to go deep in the value chain. So that's the motivation. That's why we do this, and that's why it's worth taking the risks and the time, the money, putting all your ideas out there. If you want to change the world, think big.
And then it's hard.
Yeah, and if it was easy, somebody else would have done it already.
Yeah, And the tricky part can be, as you said, you have a really disruptive technique, and you might need to enter the market where other people see, oh, but that's a quite small market. Why do they go that way? Because you need to find your first paying customer. Otherwise, you die. But what you need to tell everyone is, okay, this is our entry market, but then we will go for all this. And then we will change the world.
Exactly. And there we also see that some of these ventures might first have a customer that's close to research, for example, or work in those structures, because those are the ones that can actually evaluate this technology, for example, or can use it in the format that is to begin with. So in that case, it is, like you say, an entry market. It's not the target that we are aiming for, but it's necessary.
And that feedback, that evaluation or evaluation is really important, because one of the challenges with deep tech is there's usually only a few people who understand what these people are talking about, and the community is so small. And even so if I'm a professor at a university and I have develop a technology, and I have you can go to my competitor, another professor that does similar research. He can look at what I'm doing and maybe tell you what's good and what's bad about it, but he's also in the same boat. He doesn't want to cut the technology off. If he says this has no future, he's not going to get a research grant in the future either, right? There's a built-in conflict of interest between the commercialization side and the academic side, and that navigating that, I think, is a huge challenge.
That's why we tell you, get out of the building. Talk to some potential customers out there. Listen what they say.
Yeah, but the customers, if you're really deep tech, the customers don't understand either.
No, I know. I know.
So what do you think could be potentially done for, to help more people actually understand what deep tech is?
What it is.
I understand that's a big and deep question as well, but on top of your mind.
Well, yes and no, because it's also something, I don't remember who the quote is, but this is that these kind of phrases that we use when we don't understand what we're talking about, or when it's not really spread. So I think currently we're talking about deep tech, or it might just be a way of phrasing what we are doing around this types of technology. So that we are confused about deep tech, or that's a common discussion topic. What is actually deep tech? Is an area of development of language. I mean, that we understand this is sort of a learning journey currently. So we will be understanding this, but currently it's not that widespread, that knowledge. So what Nate, for example, has exemplified is these very niche markets or very specific uses. And in that case, I mean, it's not widespread, because the people who will be using it, or the types of uses, are not something that we all know about and read about, constantly. So why would we know about all this? So in that case, it's not that odd, because it is specific.
Yeah. No,
what's your thoughts?
Well, it's the classic problem. I mean, some of the first investors you talk to is say, well, who's your competition? And you want to say, well, we for what we do, we really don't have competition. There's this solution and this solution. They don't work. And the traditional response to that was, well, if there's no competition, there's no market. And what this person should not be a deep tech investor, because what they're missing is, if you told everybody that 20 years ago or 30 years ago that we'd all be walking around with a supercomputer in our pockets, they wouldn't have believed you either, and they wouldn't have seen the market or the value in that. And it's completely changed your society. This is what deep tech is when it's a change that's in technology and fundamental technology that's radical enough to really affect the market, is the way I see it. But that's not a broadly accepted definition, we'll put it that way.
We started talking about investments, and naturally I want to ask Mattias. I know my intel says that you are investing into deep tech companies. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is it true? Okay, so the intel was correct.
Yeah, that's true. But I invest in all types of companies now. So, because I think, like we said in the beginning, I think it's we don't want to do it too complicated. It's different, but I think, like you said, it's special knowledge which not everybody have or has. So it's complicated in that way. But I think we can't really complicate it too much. It's a business, it's insight from the entrepreneur. they want to have the customer. They have to have a great team. So it's almost the same as other company, though.
Okay, so there's no like special kind of fact or data that you look into when you make a decision. What's a good call for you?
Yeah, for me it's the same in every company. I want to see a deep insight, which not everybody have already, and they have it through their experience, the entrepreneur. I want to see a big potential. I want it to understand and see their vision, that the future can be like this. And so they have to tell me and explain it so I can understand it, see it. And then hopefully in the beginning it's not too many who can see that, but after time, then the vision is going to be true.
Understand. Would you say, based on personal experience, would you say investors in Sweden generally like get, deep tech and they are ready to play that game? How open-minded are they really?
Yeah, I think so. Maybe it's, I think in the US they are a little bit more ahead in form of, I think like I said in the beginning, I think we have time frame is so different and so complicated for these type of investment in these type of companies. It takes so much longer time. So I think we have to change that, which I can see now. New deep tech funds, they have 10+2, 50 years, evergreen structure and stuff like that. Just to capture the value though, because the value takes time to capture. And I think that mindset we have to understand, and it takes time to build great companies though.
Mm-hmm. I agree. It's very nice that you mentioned the States, because my next question was actually involving the three of you, Karin, Catharina, and Nate. How are things different across the Atlantic? I know you've done some trips to the Silicon Valley, so you know how things are. Nate, you're an American, so we have the first-hand experience. That's amazing. So can you just tell us how different are things? What would you say, like, this is a big difference that we don't have in Sweden, that we might want to have?
I was in Silicon Valley a month ago, and it was the first time I was there, actually. And I've always heard that it is a big difference, but now I really felt how big the difference was. We were around in different accelerators and incubators and close to the different universities. We were at Stanford and Berkeley and some others. And one really big difference is that there is a lot of more money. When you get in, we were at Stanford Medical Catalyst program, and when you are selected for that, they had like 160 cases that searched for the program, and they took out 8. But then they got 10 million Swedish crowns and the full team for 9 to 12 months working with the project.
To be deep tech in America.
When you come to LEAD, we say, welcome in. We will give you a business coach and maybe some Swedish krona. And cross our fingers and help you getting your first paying customer.
And that's not public money, right? That's all private money.
In the US, yeah.
So
Stanford gets 1 billion 1 billion Swedish crowns every year on from
endowment.
Former
from their endowment.
Yeah.
Yeah. The investments that they own.
And they have 750 billion Swedish crown.
Yep.
In the bank.
Yep.
Private.
So it's hard to build that here.
Yeah.
I mean, the experiment's going on, right? Chalmers and Jönköping but we're not there yet. And
but there is another difference. Can I say that as well? That we saw is also a really big. Everyone that we met has the speed up. Everything is going so fast. And many of the entrepreneurs that we met, they have different lanes. Okay, I go with this now. If this fails, then I take this one. So to fail is more or less good in the US. And we need to maybe get that into us as well. That failing is a way to build even more competence. So we are a bit
Way of
too
learning.
afraid.
Yeah.
Way of learning, yeah.
So this is a key part that I think it's very difficult for the investors to evaluate, because they're basically trusting the professor who's trying to sell his wonderful invention. And when you sell something, you don't talk about the downsides or the challenges. And ideally, as an investor, you'd like to know what the challenges are, identify a plan to test each one of those, and make sure you can get past those problems as quickly as possible. One of the built-in conflicts of interest is that for the professor and maybe even some of the team in the company, you want to push that out to later because you haven't solved them yet, and you're hoping you will solve them before then. In the meantime, we got investors giving you money, right? And in Europe in general, it's a lot of public funding, and it doesn't get the same scrutiny as the private investment money does. The people behind Stanford and these other investment teams, they bring in experts, and they really scrutinize this in another level than what I see in Sweden. So I think these are some of the differences, that they challenge the system much more than we do. But to challenge the inventors, challenge the people who wanted to start these companies.
And when you say scrutinize, can you elaborate? What exactly are we talking about here? A team of experts technical experts preferably, or?
There are places it happens in Sweden. The SSF, the Wallenberg programs, they bring in external experts. I've been an external expert and evaluated other people's research in Sweden as well. So it does happen, but it doesn't happen in the incubator system. It happens to a certain degree with Vinnova money, but it doesn't work very well. I don't think it works very well, especially with deep tech. And there's so much money in the system right now, especially around energy. And if you're doing anything with renewable energy, there's a ton of money Energy needs to pump this out. And when you have that, when you lack the competition, when you're not selecting a couple % of the people applying, you end up with a lot of you end up financing a lot of things that maybe shouldn't have been financed. We'll put it that way.
All right, so having too much money is not always good.
Well, you need money in the system, but there's a lot of things that need to go with it. That's the challenge.
If we look closer to home, I know in this audience there are a lot of people, some people who are wanting to start their own deep tech. We have this idea. How would you say the journey of a deep tech company theoretically can go in this particular part of the world? From a helicopter perspective, kind of helicopter view. I think Catharina, this is a question for you.
If you are at the university, it's all start with Karin.
Not necessarily me, but with us within the university, yes. And one thing is to say that I think you said, like, if there are people in the audience, but if you are affiliated with the university in any sense, then come catch us up, of course. I mean, that is the first start. And not only when you are aiming to start your company, because that's way too late, but rather the discussion can also be already within your research, or even within planning research sometimes, that we talk about the potential. On the other hand, like we have heard, there are still a lot of challenges, and some of them can also be utilizing those funds strategically. For example, SSF, I know, have had the challenge that they always award funds with also utilization funding built in. Yeah. However, that is underutilized. So come catch us up how to use those funds is also something. We can help you plan for activities.
Not in my companies.
Not in your companies.
Our companies.
Exactly. But if you're not Nate, then perhaps you might need to come.
It requires the thinking you had. Yeah. And this is something that I brought with me in my research and the work I did. And there some researchers are better at than others. And there are very few professors who want to jump off and run their company, right? Exactly.
And that's another good point, is that you don't need to be in this alone, because like Mattias talked about previously, this with building the team, for example, that's a key point. It can also be a challenge that you think, how am I going to do this on my own? How can I manage? Because at least from my 10 years plus of working in innovation, it's sort of rarely the case that anyone has time over, rather the opposite to begin with. So then to start an entrepreneurial journey on top of your research, then it's not really easy, but also to think about what other competences you might need or what contacts and so on. So therefore, getting also guidance on planning on that or being connected to networks and things like that can also help. However, it is still a challenge, but like we are also mentioning, these are the types of innovations that can actually solve the societal challenges we have. So therefore, they are grand. It is something of a, more of a huge leap in different fields, and therefore we should also spend more, effort on them, I would say.
But we also have some really good things connected to that you don't need to do the journey on your own.
Exactly.
So really early on, we can do, during the summertime, we do sommarmatchen, the summer match, where we put in 10 research ideas and employ 20 students doing the first market verification of these technical ideas. So then you get the first help.
Yeah, and it's a huge. This is a very successful program. It's been around for almost 20 years. Yeah. As long as I've been in Sweden.
Yeah, so a bit more than 20 years, and we are quite unique in Linköping about doing that actually. And if you are more interested as a student, when you are finishing your studies, then you can apply for our entrepreneurs in residence. We have some of them sitting here, I see. I'm really happy to see you. And then you will be employed within LEAD for 6 months, and you will be given a portfolio of technical ideas where you can do 6 months of market verification, where we hope that that will create some new companies, or at least start building some new companies, where the entrepreneurs can be one of the co-founders. So that's really a great way of doing the journey, not by your own. So we are trying to create the team, because I also know that what you're looking into, maybe one of the most important things is that you see a team full of passion and drive.
A bit curious. I was just listening to you and thinking, so there seems to be a lot of help in our local innovation system, a lot of possibilities, opportunities for those who want to know like they can get this help.
Yes.
What
I have
tricky... Oh, sorry.
Can I just have one more? Really important,
okay.
because it's about capital and it's about customers and competence. And about customers, we have some really good examples here. I saw Lena and the science parks over here. And we have Index. It's a project where we collaborate together with 4 of the big companies here in the region, and where they together reach out for new solutions, where we then ask out for startups that have solutions for the things that the companies need to create. And that's a really, really good opportunity. And LEAD was also one of the co-founders with Ignite Sweden, where we also try to match startups with corporates or startups with municipalities to see what they can solve out there.
Both of those are fantastic organizations. We've fused a lot. But the challenge is that the company has to have identified the need.
Yeah.
And this isn't deep tech. Or if it's a deep tech company that's come a long way already before they've gotten that close to it, so they can really talk to that customer and they're ready to talk to a company like that. It's not the early stages.
Yeah, I'd like to kind of come back to the what I started talking about, or asking about rather. So there seems to be a lot of help. I mean, a lot of opportunities for people who know. But my question is maybe a bit tricky or not so easy to answer. But what happens to, let's say we have brilliant minds of the future right there on campus who have a brilliant idea, they're researching, they're PhDs, right? But they are unaware of what they can do, the possibilities. How do we, I know it's a difficult question, but how do we catch those people? How do we make sure they find their way to us? I know it's a hard one, I'm sorry.
No, I don't think it's not a hard question at all.
No.
For one thing, is showcasing that you can do these things and that it's happening. So that's, for once, it's part of what we do internally in the university, is try to showcase that this is what your research could become and this is what you could be doing, and your research competence is also relevant in these types of ventures. So again, I'm not trying to trivialize it, but rather to say that this is one of the things that we need to also be better at, showcasing what you could do with, for example, with your training as a PhD, because not all PhD students continue into research. So that's one thing.
They can't.
Exactly.
The system's built. It's
exactly.
Pyramid,
so therefore, they could be
yeah.
good people to involve in the ventures that we spin out, but also to think about, for example, how could you plan your research? How could you identify the things that could potentially be kept secret or for example, patented in a way that you can talk about them? These kind of logics are built into the research system. So therefore, we need to be better at schooling and, supporting that already inside. So it's not that is odd, but also I think your question connects to that, showing your potential and your abilities, and that's also on all levels, from students in basic training to understand what could you be doing. For example, the things that Catharina talked about that LEAD uses students or recent graduates for, and also to think about what role could you play in the kind of transformations we need in certain disciplines. That's up to all of us to pinpoint.
Fully agree.
Good. We're all in full agreement. Okay, a bit of a light-hearted question. I hope the last one. So, but brighten up the mood a little bit. So, if you get an opportunity to have a magic wand, I know it sounds silly, but imagine one thing you would change, that you would like to change about our innovation system, something that you think don't quite work, maybe, or can be doing better. So, what would that be? That's a question for all of you. So take your time and be honest. Really curious.
I have one.
Go ahead, please.
It's not all about the money, but to have a Swedish big fund for deep tech. So we have.
Besides Wallenberg?
Yeah.
Okay. Wallenberg does that, but
yeah,
they
are more for research and applied research, and they have one more, I know, but we need one, another one. Because I don't have my job to push every deep tech company to the US to get the money, and then they are US companies. I will work for Swedish tax money, and I want them to grow here.
And it's not just Sweden;
it's
all of Europe.
Yeah.
And perhaps that's part of the answer. Is this might be a European venture rather that we need to do this jointly because we're that small.
Yes.
To say that this might be a European venture that we should be building is a joint fund for these things that has muscles.
The Swedish market's too small for an investor to be interested in most cases.
I would a question: could NATO fund be that kind of thing, or is it?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah? Because I agree, we need more long-term patient capital. And more ambitious people. And I think that you guys do with entrepreneurs in residence is fantastic, because at the end it's all about the people and all about the talent, and we have to keep them, and we have to keep them motivated and get them in as early as possible and building great teams then.
Then perhaps also adding to that impact due diligence to make sure that these are actually, that we make sure that we use the best possible technology solutions to the biggest obstacles that we're facing. So we direct more effort towards solving huge problems. This would be something that is connected to what we've said, but it's sometimes not what we're doing necessarily still.
I'd like to see more accountability for people who are technically capable, competent, have developed these things, and not disclosed the challenges, and not, I would say, have misused the system. There are a few cases in the US where people are going to jail for this, for lying now, but it's relatively rare. There's this attitude that this is what entrepreneurs do. They sell visions and they're basically full of crap, and it doesn't matter. But when it comes down to the details, I think there should be consequences for not telling the truth. And I think that would change some of the, I think it would make the system much more effective. We'll put it that way.
Thank you very much. That was all on my part, and I think I'll just use the remaining time for questions and answers session. So dear audience, on site here and online as well, if you're watching us still, I hope you do. Please be brave, ask your questions. We have amazing experts in the house, so take this opportunity to, ask questions. Yeah.
I have a question for Nate, because I thought it was very interesting what you said with that the system has a lot of help and support once you have found your, for example, the index and the no, I forgot the name. Ignite, thank you. That is when you have found your market or your need, what you can do, what you can offer. If you could, you who have had a deep tech company, what would you have wished for in the beginning? What sort of help and which actors that would have been included in order for you to help faster and easier find this, the need or the market?
So the story of our company is a good one. We started off trying to make lab-on-a-chip devices that would do PCR tests. Now, everybody in here knows what a PCR test is, right? Mm. Did you know that 15 years ago? No idea. Why would you want this, right? And that was the big problem. Nobody understood why it was important. If we had done that, I wouldn't be here. I'd probably be on an island somewhere in the Caribbean, because we have a pandemic. Everybody now understands the difference between what you can do from a simple lab-on-a-chip lateral flow device compared to what PCR can do. If you had that convenience, being able to do it at home, get an answer quickly, and still have the accuracy of a PCR, 99+%, yeah, that need is huge. I spent hours trying to explain it to investors who weren't into the nerdery of that then. So that's what I was missing, is people who had that vision. Now, when we couldn't do that, we pivoted and do something that's much simpler and that we can do ourselves and don't need this much external help. When I say ourselves, we don't have other deep tech companies involved, because the PCR test, it would have been 2 or 3 research groups working together on that problem. We only had one part of that. Now we do a much simpler technology. We still have all the challenges. It's still deep tech, but we don't have, it's not a plurality of deep tech companies coming together. And what we got, and the reason we made it this far is, well, the university is a pretty flexible place to work. The system, we did a good job with the patent. It was a very fundamental patent, which is kind of the definition of deep tech. So today we do pumps that work in textiles. In the patent we have, it says nothing about textiles. It's because the patent was very, very, very broad. It still protects what we do. If we hadn't had the opportunity to take that patent way back when, this was Innovationsbron, the precursor to Almi Invest. If they hadn't given us basically a grant of 100,000 crowns to take the first Swedish patent, we wouldn't have had this journey. So we got that, and we had to change. We were totally wrong what we thought we were going to do. It just didn't work out, but we're still here because we've been agile and gone with what the market wants.
But what did you need to do it faster?
I don't think we could. The answer I want to give is I wish we'd failed faster in the beginning, but I don't think we could have. I don't think we really needed to test that, because the vision, the real big vision was there. And it still is, actually, and then I still hope to do it. That's a different company, different journey. Why do we do it faster? The thing that really made it go faster was when graduate students and things came out of the university and were looking for other things. We had people who wanted to work full time. I was still struggling to try to work my way up the academic career, and that's, like you say, a full-time job in itself. Yeah, if we'd expanded the team in the beginning, it probably would have gone faster. Mm-hmm. It's hard to find the right people. Mm-hmm.
More questions, everybody? Don't be shy. This is a friendly mic. There you go.
Hi, nice talk. Just a question. Is it deep tech as long as only you understand it, and then when other people understand it, it's not deep tech any longer? Is that the definition?
Maybe. That's what you just, when you say that, I hear visionary, and that doesn't have to be deep tech. I can understand I can have a vision that nobody else has and understand it for everybody else. So deep tech usually involves, we say it involves fundamental research, and I come from the physical sciences. So for me, it's usually a physical product, or will end up in a physical product. It's usually some fundamental physical process or chemical process or something that we learn more about. And a key technology gets developed. And in the beginning, there's only a few people that understand it. At first you have somebody in the lab that says, holy cow, it worked. And then they test it again, and then they try to publish it. And when you try to publish, it goes out to peer review. So now you've got to convince other people that A, what you did is real, and B, that you've done it correctly, and C, you're describing it well enough. And at that point, you're starting to convince people. But you're still only talking to nerds like me at the university. We get excited about each other's stuff all the time, and it doesn't necessarily matter to anybody else. So part of why I enjoy the commercialization adventure is I'm trying to make a difference in the world, and I have to convince people who really otherwise don't care what I did for research that we have something useful that has value, and we can make the world a better place by developing it.
But still, it's deep tech.
It's deep tech, yeah. It's coming from something we learned at a very fundamental state. And the opportunities with deep tech are huge. I talked about changing the world. The patent protection we're talking about. The only way to get a really good patent is to find something really new. Otherwise, you can't. I mean, patent requires novelty.
Exactly.
Yeah, because I mean, if you don't care enough, I mean, about this, you keep putting basic science on the highest level.
Close to the.
You keep basic science on the top level, being a very different, not contributing. You can only contribute if you just develop it yourself. I mean, keep it for yourself. And I mean, it is the interaction between deep tech in the sense of top science and deep tech in the sense of new products. I mean,
so fundamental science is its own thing. And it's a very important, it plays a huge role in our society. And often it's what enables deep tech to exist. Sometimes you go after a fundamental science question because you want to develop something, but usually you're trying to find an answer to a question. We observed this, it's in CERN, they're colliding particles together, and something came out they hadn't seen before. What was that? Is it a glitch? Can we do it again? And they do it again, it happened again. Okay, this motivates, we need a bigger bigger collider right now. It's a huge investment, but it's that curiosity and trying to understand the fundamentals that come through. Then there's all the things that come out of it afterwards. Now, if we're talking physical particles, or some subatomic particles, it's usually a long stretch until that really impacts a product. So that's even beyond deep tech. That's the whole science and evolution of society that you're talking about on that scale.
Finally, I mean, one shouldn't admire Stanford too much in this case. I was a professor at Stanford for a few years, and if you're a professor, you have this agreement with you pay your 30%, you get support. If you're a technician, or if you're a student, or whatever, I mean, they won't spend any money on you. I mean, I promise you. So I think in that sense, the European system could have its advantages in this case.
Yeah, I don't say they are better on everything, but there are a lot of more money. Absolutely.
Well, I'm not sure about that. I think if you go to the inner city of Stockholm or Gothenburg, I can go to one of the big lawyer companies and they have 50 people investing, and they have huge funds to invest from. So I think it's more a question of knowledge, I mean, in this case. We build battery factories, don't we? Yeah. So.
One of the huge differences between the US and Sweden is in the US, if I'm a professor, when I was working at the university in the US, the university would own any inventions I created. And just like if you work at a company in Sweden, I would, as an inventor, would get something back from that, but it's not anywhere, I don't have anywhere near the same motivation. Here, it's really cool. The salary is much, much smaller, but I own my invention. I own the patent. I own the company that, that we put my patent in. So if you are inclined or can build a team that's inclined to do this commercialization process, you have a much larger upside in Sweden than you do almost anywhere else in the world.
The holiday lasts for 20 years.
Yeah. 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 The US isn't the same place it was when I left.
All right, we can take one last question. Yes, I'm coming to you.
Hi, thank you for great talks and for your sharing your experience with us. I have a question for Mattias, maybe for other speakers too. What would you say on the statement that investors prefer software and digital startups more than deep tech startups?
I think has been true, or probably might be still. But as we were talking before, I think last year or even a little bit more, I see a lot of much more optimism, much more funds starting with focus on deep tech and focus on, as we were talking about, solving the big problem. And I can see that, that's my opinion, that the big capital is moving more to deep tech, more to solving big problems, not just an app or some SaaS business. Because now I think last couple of years, I think the SaaS business has been a little bit, it might not be as good as we thought from the beginning. And I'm glad for that. And I hope that it's going to continue pouring more money into deep tech. So I think the shift is here to stay.
Thank you.
I think we should challenge it. Just because your software doesn't mean you aren't deep tech. You can't be. I mean, ChatGPT is an obvious result of a lot of research, decades of research, and now it made a very rapid transition into something that a normal person can use. And if you're a nerd in the area, you're looking at what happened, and the only thing that happened is that they taught it to interact with people. The recent developments in terms of the fundamental technology, nothing changed, but now it's in a way that people can understand it and use it, and it explodes. And the researchers are scratching their heads. Why didn't we do this 15 years ago? These are the things you learn.
Well, I'd like to finish on a high note, and if there's any investors watching us, please, we need your big money. Basically, that's that's the message I'd like to leave us tonight. That's a wrap, everybody.
And you've got companies pitching later, right?
Yes, I was just about to say that.
Okay, sorry.
But first of all, huge appreciation clap for this team. Thank you so much. We will take a short break of 10 minutes and do a sound check for our pitchers later. We have 7 companies pitching tonight, which will be exciting. So please stay put, do not leave, get ready. Stretch your legs, get a cup of coffee, cup of tea, talk to each other, and we'll see you in 10 minutes. Thank you. All right, everybody, we are back. The pitch session is about to start, so please get back to our beautiful premises, Gradängen. Hope you'll find your way. I'm going to start off by saying that this pitch session has 7 companies. I already said that, but I'm just reminding you, 7 startups pitching. Each startup will have 5 minutes to pitch their idea or product and also answer the questions if there will be any. If I see that you will be running out of time after 5 minutes, I will kindly ask you to proceed those conversations at the Mingle session instead. Okay, so these are the rules. We have all presentations on our laptop, so you don't need to worry. Just simply find your own presentation and go through your slides. I will be calling out your names, so you know in which order you will be all coming out and doing the presentations. Don't worry about that. And I'm basically done talking. I will only introduce Asiel Berglund from Liam Pep, and you will be doing your pitch right now.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. Did you know that sitting is the new smoking? How many knows about that? Actually, we're talking about active couch potatoes. We in Sweden are typical active couch potatoes because we sit a lot and we exercise a lot. Actually, we are in the top list in 2 categories in Europe. We are the most, we sit a lot among European people and we exercise a lot. That's why we are active couch potatoes. And do you think, well, you exercise, what's the problem then? There is a problem. The long-term sitting behavior is associated with lots of health problems, even if you are physical active. We have known that how important it is to exercise, but in the recent 15 years, we have understood how dangerous it is to sit for long hours and long time. So that's why it's very important to limit the time we sit and we take micro breaks. We do micro training, 2 or 5 minutes every 30 minutes. Doing that will reduce the health risks from sitting for long hours. And actually, the Public Health Agency of Sweden and the WHO updated the recommendations for the sitting and physical activity behavior in 2021. And this is a new recommendation, which is very important. So, what I do, we have been focusing on solving this problem, making physical activity and micro breaks, micro training fun. So you can take these breaks and do physical activity in a fun way. Besides LiU Pep, I do research at Linköping University, and this is the result of our research. So what do you do when you want to do some training? You play actually games, and doesn't show here. So you can choose among different games that you play in front of your computer or on your mobile. So in this game, I'll show you, I'm the aircraft here. So in order to hit the aircrafts, I need to lift my arms up and try to avoid to be attacked by the other aircrafts. Or I can do some knee bending. So I don't know if you see here. So I pump balloons by doing knee bending. And doing this in 2 minutes, you restart the whole system. And as you see here, I have 14 balloons. And to do this, I need to do knee bending and jumping, which is, I mean, you restart everything. Another game, last game I will show you, is this one, really fun one. I see if I can play it in this way. I need to do this here. So, in this game, I hit the goal signs. It's hard to play and see at the different ways. And actually, it doesn't see if I do this way. So I have to do the right way. We use AI for developing these games. And beside games, you can do other things as well. I don't know about the time.
It's coming up soon. 1 minute.
1 minute, yeah. Let me see. So, and when you have this LiU Pep, you can have it at a workplace, you can have it at home, you can build teams, you can have challenges and compete together, collaborate or compete with each other, which is a fun way to move. We had actually a user who used LiU Pep for a while, and this user had problem in the wrists. These problems disappeared as soon she used LiU Pep, which is really, really good. Another user say that when they take the micro breaks, they manage to work the whole day in more effective way. So it's a fun way to be physical active. More positive comments about LiU Pep. So using LiU Pep, if you use it at the workplace, will provide healthy and sustainable workplace engagement among colleagues, because you compete with each other and engage in a fun way. Increase productivity. When we move, we think better, so you are more productive, more creative, and you learn also about healthy habits. So if you want to try it, use the link there. Please visit us just around the corner. Today we have a challenge, highest points in one of the games. You can win a year subscription in LiU Pep. So, that's a great start. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Hello. All right. So, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We'll take you on a journey to a future of design and technology. So, we're transforming design concepts into reality using neural deep net. What that means that all the sci-fi you've been seeing so far on Star Trek will become reality very soon, as we're employing neural deep networks to produce your wildest idea into actual physical products. What I mean, these days we have a lot of products like DALL-E, Midjourney, and as well that generate the images using data from the internet, which is very questionable. Where did they get it and so on? What we're doing, we're using open source trained models specific to your needs, which are yours to own, because we're putting humans first. And what I mean with that, by the way, I'm Thomas. But it's not about me, it's about a product which we're trying to bring to you with my team. And we're backed by Magic ML, and which is by itself backed by Google Palm API. So we're quite serious about this, if we're real. And our main focus is that empowering humans, where all of us were creators when we were kids and were born, but at some point at school or so, they told us, oh, you can't draw, you can't do this, but we still think you can do everything with our help, and we'll empower you to do so. I'll give you an example now. I got two of these bustes. Which one you think is made by human hand and which one is made with help of deep neural networks? All right, I'll just pass it on and you guys can answer me at the end with this one. So our team combines the expertise of 20+ years of experience in design fields with spans from Toyota, Google, and other major players in the field. And we would love to spread this knowledge into makers, companies, and everybody that follows. This is an example of a customer need. So you come to us and you want to start a product, like a beautiful vertical farm, which you just gonna generate your own plants in your backyard or your own saloon at home. How would you do that? You would pay thousands of euros for a designer or for that. With us, you can just express that wish with words and we'll tailor that design to you. What's even cooler, it will come to life as a 3D mesh in a matter of moments. After that, you get a 3D printed object which you can touch and evaluate. At the same time, it would be available for you in VR and so on. We're targeting markets like gaming, which has been used a lot, and the assets take so much time to generate. With us, we can speed it up 10 times or more. Imagine architecture. You can make your dream interior or exterior without the need of expensive solutions, and you're gonna be the author. Nobody else. The technology is just your enabler. Imagine it's like your ultimate digital pen, which actually draws what's in your brain. Fashion industry. We need to stop this buying and throwing away. Imagine we print you your dream dress or pants, and you're gonna reuse them, recycle, and redesign as many times as you'd want without actually damaging the environment. The roadmap is to go all the way to CAD, where we produce functional objects. Like this is a 3D printed power bank with the second life upcycled cells. And this is a fully functional product which can power a laptop for half a day, done with the help of neural deep and some human magic. So yeah, we're calling you to action as well, and thanks a lot for being with us, and I hope you can visit the stall around the corner if you want to explore more or have questions. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Thomas. That's a great job. That's you, 5 minutes.
The question, so which one do you think is done by who?
All right. Well, you are staying with us at the Mingle session as well. So please, everybody who wants to talk to Thomas and discuss who designed that beautiful figure, you can continue that during the Mingle. Thank you. Next one up is Daniel Kuznetsov from Retinello Laboratories. And he will be talking about a learning platform that allows users to create their own material using some AI tools. Welcome.
sure it's on. Yeah. Just keep the mics on when you're passing on to the next one. Okay.
Hi, I'm Daniel from Retinello. I'm going to talk about the smart learning platform that we're building. So, with the recent advances in AI, mainly generative AI, many people are pessimistic and might think that it's the end of humanity and AI might replace us. We've chosen a more optimistic view of it all. So we believe that we have a chance of augmenting human knowledge with AI and kind of creating a treadmill for education and learning. But is this just a vision or is it a reality? So we have actually been live for 2 months. And since then, we have accumulated more than 350 learners, and they have together created more than 10,000 flashcards. So in the next few slides, I'm going to talk about creating and learning and growing on our platform. So starting off, we have create. So on this demo video, you will see how to create learning material. So learning material on Retinello is flashcards. So here you can just highlight your text that you want to create questions from, and then you get some flashcards from that. But you can also just write a subject or topic, get some questions on that, or just paste some text and get flashcards on the most important parts. So that's the learning material that you create. So now we have to learn as well. So we employ 2 methods of learning, which is spaced repetition and another thing that we call interactive learning, which we really like. So that is basically ChatGPT, but we always provide the context of your flashcards in a chat. So you will get some feedback and you can ask follow-up questions and so on. So I mentioned grow earlier. So we really want to make learners curious and make them want to know more. So with Retinello, we easily capture knowledge at all times. So here you're chatting with a document, so you can also have chat with PDF. But you can ask questions, and every chat message on Retinello can be distilled down into new flashcards. So you always build up your learning material, your library of learning material will grow with you as you ask questions and learn using our platform. So that's a lot of our features. There's more features. I couldn't fit it all into this pitch. But we are a B2C SaaS business, which might differ from many companies here in Mjärdevi. So we have a normal subscription model. We have a free one where you have nearly all the features, but with limited credits, and also a paid one with no limitations whatsoever. So with a B2C SaaS platform, we have a very hard problem, which is growth. We need millions of users to reach the revenue that we want. So we employ some networking effects, as you can see here, what we're doing, and also trying to get some gamifications to decrease churn and make users come back and learn more every day. So my time is running out. I'm gonna do this fast. We're 2 students. We've been working on this for a couple of months. It's me, Daniel, and my friend Gustav over there. Yes. So whether you are a learner or if you're looking for a new adventure and feel that you want to work on a B2C platform and join the new learning revolution. We invite you to talk to us later. Thank you.
You're perfectly on time, 5 minutes.
Thank you.
And you'll be also staying with us, so anybody who wants to...
Yeah, for a while, yes.
Yes, and it should be on.
Okay, and I have to pick myself, right? Yeah, okay. If you think about the last few years, you might have noticed that around you, more and more solar panels are being installed. Especially if you think about last year's energy crisis. Maybe you were even one person that really wanted solar panels on their roof, but there was such a big demand from everyone else. However, even though it feels like this solar panel market is gaining so much traction, if we zoom out a bit and look at the bigger picture, we can see that this growth has only just started. So we're really at the very nascent stages. And we can kind of compare this to the growth of a plant. So right now, this market is a little seedling, and it still has quite a bit of a way to go to be a full-grown plant. So what does this mean, and why does this matter? Well, while it's of course very important that we transition to clean energy, this transition doesn't come for free. And I'm not talking primarily about money, but I'm actually talking about resources. So while our world today needs fossil fuels to go round, the clean energy technologies, they require a lot of rare and precious materials to actually be made. So one example that shows that quite well are actually cars. Today's cars, they require fossil fuels to run, which of course electric cars, they don't. But then we need materials like, for example, lithium to make these cars in the first place. And we can see that the demand for lithium for batteries has picked up substantially over the last few years. Getting back to solar panels, they actually require a material called silver to function. And what we can see is that within, I think I'm standing in front of my own presentation, within just 8 years, the demand from solar panels for silver has pretty much tripled. And we can also see that already last year, if we take together not only solar panels, but also electronics and some other applications like jewelry that also require silver, the world already demands more than we mined in that year, and that trend is not predicted to stop. So if we think back to the market currently being a tiny seedling, so at the very early stages, how is this going to look in a few years down the line, given that we need to scale up so much? It might look something like this. This depends, of course, a bit on how innovation is going, but as you can see, solar cells alone might take up a big part of the demand for silver. And then what happens to electronics and all the other applications that maybe are also needed for clean energy technologies or are needed to provide all the computing power we need for AI and other applications. So suddenly we have a trade-off here. So what can we do about this? One very important thing is that we design great solar panels. And as you probably can imagine, it's very important that they're efficient. They should also last a long time, so we don't produce new ones all the time. We should make them with clean energy, we should make them under good conditions, but also we should make them with as little material as possible, one very important one being actually silver. And on this side, you can see kind of what most solar cells look like today and how they use silver in a rather inefficient way. And this is where our innovation comes in. Being a deep tech startup spun out from research at the university, we have come up with a new way of creating materials actually based on silver. But the difference is that our material, it's applied in a super thin layer on the solar cell. So it's so thin, it's actually transparent. And it's going to reduce the silver consumption with up to 80%.
And our vision with this innovation is that we want to be a key enabling technology for bringing back PV manufacturing to Europe, where we can manufacture under good conditions in a sustainable way, and then actually enable that hyperscaling of PV manufacturing so that we can meet the goals of the Paris Agreement. And this is a snapshot of the crew behind the mission. And my name is again Tabia, and I'm very happy to meet you later and answer any questions or comments that you might have. Thank you.
Hey everybody. Hello. Okay, so I've been working in marketing for almost 20 years, and successful marketing, whatever product you have basically, is to build and maintain relationships. However, it's often easier said than done. Because when you are a business that market a product, you have two big challenges. You have an overload of information out there, and also the audience have very short attention span. Let's take Lisa here, for example. She's a marketing manager on a mid-sized manufacturing company. She is responsible of launching their new product, a pair of headphones which have revolutionized technology. My name is Oskar Pallian, and I am the designer and the founder of XP Studio. And we will help Lisa here to market her product and find a standout in the crowd. So the idea of XP Studio has developed throughout my years working with communication. So I worked with all from video production, commercials, brand development, IT solutions, and also a lot of online courses. So XP Studio is a way to combine different techniques, such as videos and interaction, and the user is able to create and share digital experiences, such as interactive presentations or gamified marketing campaigns. So what it does is that the XP makes the user active. So instead of being passively watching a video, for example, the user is invited to interact and make choices throughout the process. So back to Lisa here. She is not still aware of this magical island called XP Studio. So she is thinking about contacting an agency, which can help her with a campaign, but will probably cost her around 200,000 kronor at least. Or she can do it herself. But she doesn't have the time or the competence to do so. Luckily, she talks to Ulli here, and Ulli, she recommends her to go to XP Studio. So she starts an account and find a lot of cool tools where she is able to create the presentation really easy. So even though she doesn't have a technical background, she is able to create a captive experience by using our wide range library of pre-designed templates. The animation. So she is publishing this application, this digital experience on social media, get a lot of traction, and also uses it in the next exhibition for the company in their booth. She also is able to use it as an onboarding for their new employees. So we have helped Lisa to save cost. We have helped her to launch the product in a very efficient way. So there are other platforms out there that provide presentation tools. There are other that provide game-based services. However, XP is unique in having a combination of design, gamification, and innovation, and combining this in a really captivating way. So we have several customers as early adopters, you could say. And one of them is Bixia, which they have created a game called Solspillet, the sun game, where the user is able to answer questions regarding solar energy, and also participating and compete in a small puzzle game here. So this is actually part of an installation at Kolmården, which was published yesterday, I think, together with all the Halloween stuff there. So maybe you can find it there. We also work with Sectra, where they have created an exhibition, where they have created an application for their exhibition, and the visitors to their booth is able to research and participate in this radiology challenge, where they can scroll in a stack and then participate questions. Right. So how do I sell XP Studio? Of course, with XP Studio itself. So I can easily create a presentation and put it together, adapt it to a specific customer, and book a meeting, of course. And then the most important thing, the main goal, start the relationship. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You will be also staying with us. Yeah? Perfect.
I have a tablet with me, so you can try it out if you want to.
Awesome. Everybody heard that, right? Make sure you do. Yes, next one out is Jannike Tillå from VOC Diagnostics. And you will be talking, can I spoil it?
Absolutely.
About a technology that enables early detection of ovarian cancer. The stage is yours.
Thank you. So I'm Jan Erik, and I'm the CEO of VOC Diagnostics. I've been working like 20 years in various life science companies. And what I would like to start with is a little bit to share the challenges with ovarian cancer. First of all, a woman that is hit by the cancer often has very vague symptoms, which is a problem by itself. The doctors that will have to establish the diagnosis will have to rely on many different procedures like ultrasound and tests. And the most common test today is called CA-125. And that will only detect less than 50% of the cases in the early phase. So that's the problem. The diagnosis is done too late in the stage. And the mortality is a big problem. There are new techniques coming to the market, such as ctDNA and protein-based. We are developing one such new technique, and we are convinced that our solution will be superior when it comes to detecting the cancer in early phase. And we have patented this, so we are in good shape to get going. I would like to share, and I hope the time will allow us to share a patient testimony, which is quite surprising, actually. Please listen.
I have a pug, and she sleeps with my husband and I, and she usually sleeps alongside me, and all of a sudden she started putting her head on my lower abdomen where my ovary would be while I was sleeping, and I kept pushing her off saying, "What are you doing?" And it would put pressure on it, and I said, "Why am I tender there?"
So Donna's story is actually the starting point for what our founder did. He was convinced there was something specific in the smell of the blood from a ovarian cancer patient. And to actually prove this, he trained his 2 dogs to, in blind test, point out, and he could show that the dogs would 100% be able to find it. So, and the basis for this is something called volatile organic compounds. And when you measure volatile organic compounds from the human metabolic activities, you have a very good solution for monitoring and detecting diseases. That is a well-known fact, and that is the basis for what we have built our solution on. We are working on an instrument that can be used in regular labs and that will take less than 10 minutes with just a blood sample without any additional reagents. So it's a simple and affordable method. And we are right now in the phase where we are selecting our strategic product development partner to handle as well as the product development as also the quality and regulatory matters that are quite strict in this respect. And we intend to introduce the final product in 2025. But in between, we intend to provide a solution that can be used by the lab for research purpose, and that will give us access to the customers, to the doctors, and so we go out there and we leave our own cozy lab on our place. And we see in front of us a market that is worth 120 million euro, but if we take this to a screening solution, that will grow up to 500 million, and we also are exploring the possibility to use this for other cancer types, and that will rocket sky the market. But we are today focusing on ovarian cancer. We have a fantastic team, and I would like to mention Jens, who is coming from the university in Linköping, and I would say that he is the most knowledgeable person related to our core technology, so we are in very good shape. And then we have Dr. Borfeldt, who is the chairman of the Swedish Society of OB-GYN, and he's a very strong key opinion leader. He is our clinical advisor and also is handling all the clinical affairs. And we did close a seed fund in the spring this year, and we are looking to close next round in second quarter next year, and then we have to take it up to 2 million euro to afford to take this forward. And we are extremely passionate and excited, and we will look forward to see you and tell you more along the way. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Jan-Erik. And obviously, good luck. All right, everybody. Last one but not least, we have Naveen Sisitaran from Worldish, who'll be pitching Helen, Communicative Assistant. Do we have Naveen with us? It would appear that we don't. Okay, so we lost Naveen somewhere along the way. All right, that concludes the pitch part then for tonight. From now on, I can tell you that we are going to the Mingle session, which is freestyle. There is no program. I won't be asking any questions. I won't be direct in this part. I want you to just socialize, network with each other, mingle, get friendly, because that's what you are here for. All right? So have fun. If you have any questions about Go to 10, ask me or Aaron or my beautiful team up there. Can you make yourself known? Yay. Awesome. So enjoy. And thank you so much for coming. I hope you had fun. Thank you.